Baby Keem is finding himself, right? I do these HQ theories, these album reviews, and I say, well, at its best, it's this, and at its worst is no. This Casino project by Baby Keem, at its best, is Baby Keem finding himself and taking us through that journey, and at its worst is Baby Keem is finding himself, particularly with his sound, his styles, right? Now, I know a lot of y'all are big Baby Keem fans, and you've known him for his from his last two projects. But Baby Keem is still very young, right? He's 25 years old, and I know for a lot of y'all, because I know you're 17, you're 18, you think, nah, man, that cortex is just now is just now cortexing. You get what I'm saying? And a number of things happen to a lot of young people around that age. And I know the scientists did disprove this, but I still feel like it's a canon event. I mean, it happened to me when I was 25. My brain started thinking a little differently. But anyway, let's get into what I loved, like, thought was okay, why, and we'll go through some of the songs, right? All right, this is why you're here. You're here to scream at me. Why don't you like? Why do you think this is okay? And why is this in why? I've always told you guys if I put something in why, I have an explanation. If you wait for it, I'll tell you why. Doesn't necessarily mean I hate the song. This was a very short project. Let's pull up the notes. I've been trying to get better at using notes because I be forgetting shit when I do these album reviews off the top. So I took my notes, all right? And here are the records I love. Birds, Bees, No Blame. I like No Security, Casino, Good Flirt, Highway 95. House Money was okay to me. Sex Appeal, a Circus Freestyle, Dramatic Girl. Some of these songs are okay. I think will grow on me a lot more. They sound fun. Like Dramatic Girl sounds fun. The record with Too Short sounds fun. Now, why is I'm not a lyricist on why? Well, let's get into that. What is this project? Okay, although it's short, it feels like a well curated project enough that's enough for the audience to grasp where Keem is right now, where he is in his journey, right? How he's growing, dealing with grief, regrets, some survivor's guilt. But then the production and song structure on some records still leans on Keem's strength and things that a large part of the audience have grown to like about him. Obviously, I put Birds and the Bees as one of the songs that I really loved. House Money is one of them. Like, it's not my thing, but I get it. And even on the flaws on this project, we can kind of chalk it up to, again, Keem finding himself. I'm sorry, you guys are going to hear a lot of this in this review, right? And I'm okay with pointing this out. Like I said, I am not a lyricist on why. And the reason I did that, obviously, the Andre 3000 impersonation, which was a little bit creepy for me at the end. I don't know if that is actually Andre 3000. They just messing with us. But at the end of the day, that, along with the rest of the song, mixed with this kind of almost imitation of a Section 80 version of his cousin, is something I'm sure a lot of y'all, because of nostalgia, would enjoy. For me, I start going, I think we'll let that slide because Baby Keem is young, because Baby Keem is finding himself, because of Baby Keem's proximity to his big cousin. And you know what I'm saying? You start getting that sort of hip hop royalty vibes. But for me, if it was another artist, if it was someone later on, we would call that jacking. And then there's other records on that project that's just outright him sounding like his cousin, right? Or does his cousin sound like him? And I think it's getting to that point, as we're finding ourselves, Baby Keem, to start separating each other on that, because your cousin can execute some of these things better than you because he has an advantage with lyricism, even though Baby Keem is great at flows and deliveries and sounds and being fun and all of that, right? Now, let's go back to some of these records. Some of these records I like, and some of these records I said was okay. They might flip, right? This is a very short project, straight to the point. I think PG Lang figured something out with GNX. Now they're doing this with Casino. Listen, in an age where we're doing playlist type vibes, we're doing 22 songs, 19 songs. Coles dropped the double album. They said, no, we're going to keep it short. But the thing is, I appreciate and I like the fact that the features on this project, they work really well. They seem to fit, right? They seem appropriate. Momo Boyd sounded good on Good Flirts. Too Short sounds great to me on Sex Appeal. And I think I might move that up. Again, this is 3 different locations listening before I do my review, through the AirPods, through the car, and through the speakers and crib. So that's good, but in a month, don't be surprised if I tell you that Dramatic Girl and Sex Appeal is like one of my favorite records off the album because they're fun. I didn't do a club listen yet. That might, you know what I'm saying? I didn't do a kickback listen yet. But again, I just want to point out that some of these features are great. They didn't seem forced. They didn't seem like, oh, go grab Young Thug. And speaking of Young Thug, on Good Flirts, when Kendrick does that little, what I consider, I know Kirk Oldham said as a jab, but just an acknowledgement, right? Of, hey, I got with my girl like Young Thug, with my girl like Young Thug too. And oh, by the way, I heard those tapes. I thought that was pretty cute, right? That was pretty cute. I don't hate the Kendrick vibes. On House Money, it's like whatever. But on Good Flirts, I really, really, really like that. Now, what I will say on the outro, and it's interesting that that was the outro. Some of y'all may say, oh, this is typical HQ. He just loves an introspective record. No Blame is a hell of a song. Now, again, it's the perfect conclusion to this review, and really summarizes what I said at the beginning. It's a perfect execution. I think a better execution, right, of kind of the vibes on I'm Not a Lyricist, and Keem being candid with us, right, talking about the relationship with his mother and Chicago, and then still using some of the elements of some of the things that his cousin does in Kendrick, right? But this time it feels more genuine. It's executed a lot better. I can hear the individual contribution from Keem, like what he brings to the table. It's more personable, right? And I think that's the best way to end an 11-track album that you were trying to keep very cohesive, very condensed. Tells a story at the top with the intro, No Security, and really, really hammers it on with No Blame. So overall, a very solid project for me. I do think this is one of those projects, I wouldn't call it like a sacrificial lamb type of thing, but it's one of those projects where I still think he has some bangers on here, but one of those things where an artist takes a step back on chasing any type of, hit, giving the fans a piece of them, and it can make your fan base bigger, make them more attached because they now know a little more about you. And now they know you're finding yourselves and they came along with you on that journey.